We're going to begin Chapter 5 today. Chapter 5 is a short chapter, and hopefully the Chapter 5 assignment has populated. Looking for it. You should have done your Chapter 5 terms. You want to do that before you start book questions. The whole point of doing terms first is so that reading the book is easier. So new assignment, you should know the drill. We have the textbook pages and a video that might help. And also we have the questions. So I'm going to do that. Press the square arrow and get myself into the work. I'm going to go back and split screen with the book, or you can open this link to split screen with the book. But I like to go back and split screen with Google Classroom, X down, and the red one. It's thinking about it. All right, so we have a story about goldfish. And so the goldfish here are going to be the first question. So where did they originate means where did they start, which isn't the same place as where they were restricted. So they were restricted in ownership in a particular place. Now we have this guy here, Gregor Mendel. He was a monk, that's why he's wearing such cool clothes. And he studied garden pea plants to learn about inheritance. He actually worked in the garden. So the advantages of studying peas are here. There's 3 advantages. And he studied many types of pea plants. So when he studied the pea plants and he crossed them, he discovered that some traits always show up and some traits seem to hide. And that's over here where we talk about dominant traits and recessive traits. For the math break, that gets a little tricky. That's here. We're just dividing. They did the first one for you, and so did I. So they got an answer of 3.15 by dividing both numbers by the smaller of the 2 numbers in the pair. So Mendel grew a bunch of pea plants, and he found that 705 of them had purple flowers and 224 had white flowers. And when you divide both numbers by the lower number, 224, 224 divided by itself is 1, and 705 divided by 224 is 3.15. As normal, we include 2 numbers past the decimal point. So for the next one, seed color, so here's seed color, you would take 6,002 yellow seeds divided by 2,001, and you put your answer here. Similarly, you just keep going. 5,474 round seeds divided by 1,850 wrinkled seeds for seed shape. And you just keep going. Wow, that was fun. I did not want to do that. Cool. So we're just doing some math here to see the answers converge on something. In Punnett Squares, how do we draw the dominant and recessive traits? So this is a Punnett Square where we show a purple flowering plant, capital P, and a white flowering plant, lowercase p, and that's a hint. We didn't use the letter W for white, and that's one of the conventions. So how do we represent the dominant trait, in this case purple, and the recessive trait? So I don't want how they do it here in this picture. I want the rule for how we do it all the time. So here's another one where we have round seeds and wrinkled seeds. Round gets a capital R and wrinkled gets a lowercase r. So those are different Punnett Squares, and you'll actually make some later. To get an intro into the Punnett Squares, you would want to watch this video, which is the same video that's linked back in Google Classroom. And for the Punnett Squares, the outside of a Punnett Square represents the parents, and the inside represents what the kids can be. So genes come in pairs, and so if each parent can give one of 2 things, 2 times 2 is 4, there are 4 boxes of what the kids could be. So what genotypes could these parents' kids be? This won't make sense until you watch the video. But a genotype means the pair of letters, and a phenotype means what will they look like. In this case, what percent would have yellow eyes. If we're talking about percentage, if I have, so for instance, in this box, the box above this parent and below is Y and Y. But the box above this and beside, above and beside it I have a lowercase y, and then I have a capital Y above. This box, beside it, ooh, wow, that was weird, I have a capital Y, and then a lowercase y. And then lastly, in this box, above and beside, I have lowercase y and lowercase y. So I got 4 different outcomes. Yellow is dominant, so any box with at least one capital Y would be yellow-eyed. So I have 3 boxes with capital Y's. 3 out of 4, 3/4 equals 75%. 75% would have yellow eyes. So to do these boxes, you have to figure out what the combinations would be. And genotypes would be the parents' letters. So for instance, the parents' kids have different combinations. So here I'm asking about the kids. And the kids could be Y, Y, capital Y, capital Y. We have to say capital lowercase. We have to distinguish between those options. So these are the 3 options that are always possible. 2 capital letters, 2 lowercase letters, or 1 of each. In this box, it looks similar, except for this parent only has capital Y's, and this parent has 1 of each. So the outcome for the kids will be different. And then here, we don't know what the parents are. They each have a capital Y because they have yellow eyes, but we don't know if they're hiding any green instructions. But here's a green kid, lowercase, lowercase. So we can go backwards as well. So I've done some of that for us. Watch my video for major, major, major hints about how this gets done. And then section 2, we talk about sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. And so sexual reproduction is different from asexual reproduction up here based on how many parents are involved. And then sex cells are different from regular cells down here. So the first part of 11 is up here, the second part of 11 is down here. 12, how many times do cells divide during meiosis and how many times are chromosomes copied? Well, mitosis is when we copy the DNA and we split a cell and the cell divided once. In meiosis, it happens a different number of times. How can traits skip a generation? We skipped this bit about meiosis, but one of the key differences is meiosis splits twice and makes 4 cells instead of just 2 cells, which mitosis makes. Well, a trait to skip a generation has to be recessive. So here we have wrinkled seeds, the blue ones, and round seeds that are dominant, the red ones. Each parent gives instructions, and here, even though each kid come out with instructions for wrinkled and round, blue and red, they're all round seeded. The trait is hiding. These P's, if they had their own kids, could pass on that wrinkled trait and it could show up again. So recessive traits can hide in one generation and show up in another. So this picture is trying to give you a hint there. The abbreviation for male and female chromosomes are here. So female gets 2 X chromosomes, but male gets an X and a Y. The X chromosome is critical. It has many things that are apart from gender and needed for survival. The Y chromosome's kind of optional. And if you look at it, it's a tiny little bugger. It's not really doing much. But here's figure 11. In chromosomes, 22 are paired and similar, but the sex chromosomes can be different. So in this karyotype that you're going to look at, you're going to decide if that's male or female based upon what you know about male and female chromosomes. Whereas in this one, the chromosomes are both X and the same, the sex chromosomes. So all the chromosomes get numbers, except for the sex chromosomes they get letters because they can be different. Now, in reproduction, mom can only give X chromosomes. And so X chromosomes have instructions to be female, and dad can give an X or a Y. So that should really help you figure out 15. As always, the videos are extra, or you can go to the website. I believe I have updated the website. Let's refresh this. Let's go to current chapter. That's chapter 4. Let's go to chapter 5. I'm going to make the current chapter button for chapter 5. And you can see the question slideshow here. You can see a Punnett Square preview, the slides about this. I might put something else here. I'm going to put some example Punnett Squares here instead, and our videos that I shared. All right, that's chapter 5. We're going to spread this out over this week and next week, and Friday we're going to make our own Punnett Squares, and you're going to figure out why this one is terrible. That's not how they work. Email me or talk to me in class if you have questions.